So many legends, so little time. Welcome to Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Join us today as we do just a little exploring. Just rolling into Hollywood Forever Cemetery. I have been wanting to come here for so many years, and we are heading into the gift store, flowers and gifts. Greg just caught this relief on the ceiling. That is, I mean, if you don't look up, I believe Greg's exact words were, what did you say? It always
look up.
Always pays to look up, I believe, were your exact words, right?
Yeah.
Right, there you go. Unless, of course, you're walking alongside of a ravine.
But I think that's only common sense.
Beautiful, beautiful. They do a lot of movies here as well, out on the lawn. So, some cool looking t-shirts, hats. Adam picked up a keychain, I believe. Adam, did you say you picked up a keychain? Is that what you ended up with? Is it like a what are we talking about here?
Hollywood Forever.
Okay, just a general keychain. Yes. Very cool. And you get a map.
And a book. Yep.
And you got a book.
Put this back in the car.
Absolutely.
Take that version.
Sounds good to me. This is one of the more well-known mausoleums here. This pyramid, beautiful piece of stonework. A lot of people have asked what celebrity is in there. That is not a celebrity in there. This is what you may call just an everyman, although a very wealthy one. But the big thing here is the stonework itself, not so much a particular movie star or actor or actress or musician. This is one of the ones that has brought me here to begin with. Johnny Ramone. This is not Johnny's grave. Johnny is not actually buried here. This is a cenotaph. It's a memorial to him, but he is not actually here. A lot of people don't know that. He was cremated, and his wife actually still retains his ashes. But look at this. Isn't this one of the most spectacular cenotaphs you've ever seen? Ramones were a huge, huge portion of my teenage and 20 years. There's a Swayze tomb over there. I've seen a lot of people ask in the past in other videos and forums if that is Patrick Swayze. That is not Patrick Swayze, but still very impressive work. Steve Garland, 1955, 2019. The movie is over, but the story lives on. That is kind of cool. I like how that's done. Hattie McDaniel. She was, I believe, the first Academy Award winner of African American descent. She is not buried here. She is actually in another cemetery in Los Angeles. She wanted to be buried here, unfortunately, at the time. Some very racist rules prevented that from happening, but they did, after a while, as ownership changed, create the cenotaph for her. So she is at least represented here. This is Chris Cornell. He was the lead singer of Soundgarden, Temple of the Dog. He passed away, gosh, I guess it's been probably the better part of 10 years ago. Not quite, but getting there. He is here. I've actually seen this plot several times in the past, but it has certainly grown up quite a bit more with these little succulent gardens. It's a pretty good memorial to him. Lana Hutchins. You might recognize this name and this face. She had made the headlines about 4 years ago. She was unfortunately killed in an accidental shooting on the set of Rust, an Alec Baldwin film. But more importantly, she was a little bit of a legend in terms of the production end of many films. Here's another one that I've seen several times before. Let me see if I could find, where is, hold on, I'm gonna find it. Here we go. Mama Irene. Not only was she perfect, but she was Italian. Anton Yelchin over here. Again, tragic ending a few years ago in an accident, but rising star here in Hollywood. He did a lot of pretty quick, big movies. I gotta say, I don't think he was born in '89. Unfortunately, he did die very young. As I understand, his parents come to visit him quite often. I know a lot of people have been up here and run into them. Very, very sad, very tragic. Over here's the monument of the Toto, the dog from Wizard of Oz. That is not where he is actually buried. But they do have this little memorial to him regardless. Mickey Rooney, one of the also biggest stars, but I think longest reach might be a better way of putting it. Mickey has been making movies since he was a child. He was one of the youngest child superstars, and he actually went almost 100 years in the spotlight. Another tragic case right here. Anne Celeste Heche. Anne died fairly young. She left behind a child who was, a young adult, I believe. But Anne was very large in the late 90s in terms of her reach. She kind of took a step back for a while and started making more art-related films. I won't say they're art films, but smaller, certainly. Shifty Shell Shock is up there again. I didn't know he was here. If you've ever heard the song Butterfly by Crazy Town, you've heard his work. Valerie Harper. She was, I was born in the late 70s. She was already a star well before I was born, and I mean that in a respectful way, not to say like she was older or anything like that. She was pretty timeless, but in the 80s she was absolutely enormous in the sitcom scene, especially. I know she fought cancer for years and did it in a very brave way that brought a lot of awareness. And on a personal level, for those of us who have been around those who have passed away from cancer, I think we can all say she showed a lot of grace, a lot of strength. Howie Pyro, the ultimate weirdo and a true punk. See you next Tuesday. Here's another one that brought me out here to begin with. This is the final resting place of Paul Reubens, who, as of next week from the filming day, will have been gone for all of 2 years, which is very hard to believe. Paul was, if you didn't know already, Pee Wee Herman. Paul was an incredible guy. Big part of my childhood, big part of a lot of people's childhoods. And if you haven't seen the new, as of right now, the new documentary about his life, check it out. Another legend right here, Burt Reynolds. February 11th, 1936 to September 6th, 2018. I was born in the 70s, as I've said, child of the 80s primarily, and Burt was, he was around before that, obviously, but again, having one of those career high points in the 80s, where for a while there, it was hard to find a bigger star than Burt Reynolds. There's a lot of turtles in this pond, this little lake. They're coming over here. They think I'm going to feed them, obviously. I don't have anything to feed them, or I happily would. You can see them sunning themselves on all the rocks. A lot of swans over there. I mean, this portion, if I'm being entirely honest, this portion of the cemetery is, I don't want to say cluttered, but it is, very full, obviously, but still beautiful. Look at the stonework over here. Wow. This is incredible. In memory of Bill Lyons, William Lyons specifically, and Mary Lyons. You can hear a whole bunch of peacocks off in the distance. Once you've identified the sound of a peacock, you can never really mistake it for anything else. Cecil B. DeMille, one of the great directors of probably, I'd say, 20s, 30s, up to the 40s? Definitely in the 20s and 30s.
You think of famous directors, that's one of the top 5?
Oh yeah, easily. You know the line, of course, I'm assuming.
Of course, from Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah. I'm ready for my close-up. Yes, absolutely.
One of the greatest film noir Hollywood movies ever made.
Wow. Adam has found one of my other musical influences, Dee Dee Ramone.
Dee Dee's here,
Yep.
but then Johnny has a sculpture over there, but he's actually not laid.
Right, that one's a cenotaph. His wife actually still has his ashes, but this one actually really is.
Dee Dee Ramone.
Yeah, and actually in the background over there is Bianca Butthole. So there's a lot of rock history in a very small area here. Dee Dee was one of my influences. How about you?
I saw the Ramones.
I did too.
Where'd you see them at?
I saw them in Cleveland on their last tour, the Adios Amigos tour.
I saw them in '94 at the Edge in Orlando.
Probably the same tour by that age, by that year. Different place. Adam just stumbled onto, well, if you can call it stumbling onto, a giant obelisk. This is the Griffith Memorial. If you've seen Griffith Park, you have seen just a small amount of his handiwork. This is what I was talking about earlier, where I said it can get a little, again, I don't want to say crowded, but certainly they're utilizing the space very well. You see this wall up over here. Hollywood Forever Cemetery used to be much larger than it is now. They ended up selling a lot of the property. There was a dark period of time during the history of this cemetery where it was owned by some people who didn't have the best intentions. They were funneling money out of here and gotten well in over their heads. They ended up selling off lots of property, partially to Paramount Studios. There's also on the other side of one of the walls a strip mall of sorts, not even a good strip mall. That happened a while ago, not too long ago in the great scheme of things. It was purchased by another group who has largely brought it back up. As I understand, there are some more recent issues with the new group too, but that is for a different video altogether. Hear the peacock squeaking. There's an enclosure over there. You can see the peacocks moving around. They do house and feed the peacocks. Some of them are walking around. In fact, one of the peacocks is over there pruning itself right now. Over here is Andrew Koenig, Walter Koenig's son, also well known for playing Boner from Growing Pains. Right over here we've got the Fairbanks lawn. Douglas Fairbanks, senior, junior. I'll tell you, back in the day, there was nobody bigger than Douglas Fairbanks. Except for possibly Mary Pickford. At one point, Al Jolson. Right here's Fay Ray, You probably recognize her from being held in the hands of King Kong, dangled over the side of the Empire State Building all those years ago. A little bit of a jump out moment. Mel Blanc. Over here, Estelle Blanc.
I would say probably the greatest voice actor that ever lived.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. He was the voice of all the Looney Tunes. Among a bunch of... He was Barney Rubble, too. I didn't realize that at the time, but... It was very surreal to see this. Again, it doesn't feel like all that long ago that he passed away, but it's been better part of 26 years now. Coming to the Judy Garland Pavilion. I don't believe Judy was originally interned here, but after a few years, when they cleaned up the cemetery, she was brought here. And as you can see, she very much has a place of prominence. We're running out of time, so we're going to go see Mr. John Paragon now. He is, I believe, in here.
To the map.
John Paragon might be best remembered as Jambi, the genie from many of the Pee-wee Playhouse properties, but among many other things that he did, he was also the writer of quite a bit of the Pee-wee stuff, things that you remember. David Lander right here, Squiggy. There it is. John Dixon Paragon. Great actor, even better comedian and writer. Look at that amazing urn. Judy Tenuta. Oh, she was hilarious. Actually, there's the statue. But over here is the actual urn. Well, I think that's going to do it from the edge of Hollywood Forever Cemetery. So crazy to be here. Didn't even really scratch the surface of this particular cemetery. I mean, there's so much here that we didn't get anywhere near, but we are running out of time because we have a few other places we are committed to be. So, until we get back out here to Hollywood, I hope you will join us again next time as we do just a little exploring.